This is Jay Norris with Brewer FX here in Chicago. Welcome to our video trend map. Today is Monday, September 29th. Before we get started, I need to point out that trading futures and Forex is a risky endeavor and may not be suitable for all investors. These charts are snapshots of the current market and may be no indication of future conditions. First market we're covering is the Euro-US dollar. You can see on the lower right here how the Euro-US dollar closed lower on the day. That essentially shifted the short-term trend lower on the daily chart. Had 5 days in a row now with lower lows. Upper right here, that's the 240-minute Euro 4-hour chart. You see how it broke that secondary trend line. Market tried to claw back above it, but it's currently below it, and the short-term trend and the secondary trend on the 240-minute are now lower for the euro. Next market, British pound, US dollar, lower right, similar situation to the euro, short-term trend down. Upper right, interestingly, this market broke through that trend line much earlier than the euro did. Pound's been the leader for back from 05, 06, 07. It led on the way up. Now it's leading on the way down. So short-term trend lower on the daily pound, lower on the short-term and secondary time frame on the 4-hour. So we would look for a continuation of that. Australian US dollar. Australian US dollar still much weaker than the other pairs. No surprise here. We were saying all last week if you wanted to get long the dollar, pick on the weakest currency, and the Aussie would have been it. You can see lower right, it gave back much of the gains that we saw from that short covering soda pop rally of 2 weeks ago. Definitely on the ropes, the Australian dollar. Next market, the dollar yen. Dollar yen, if you look left, we pointed out last week, short-term trend was lower on the weekly. Today we see, let's go lower right, I'm sorry. Today we have the short-term trend and the secondary trend lower on the daily. So my point being, the trend on the weekly is in unison, is coordinated with the trend on the daily now. So that's generally a signal that we're going to see a continuation of that move. Upper right, I pointed out last week that the pound was in a symmetric triangle, and that symmetric triangle generally breaks out in the way of the base of the triangle right here. The base is moving north to south, so in fine form it did break out of there and close below it, so that's pretty bearish too. So not a lot to be bullish about on the dollar yen. In fact, it's giving clear sell signals. Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar Canadian in this chart had a bounce. Canadian dollar weakened. Lower right, we can see how the market was crawling along the old breakout point. Couldn't get much going, and then today, actually late today, you mustered a rally. Upper right, you can see it closed pretty strong. That's a pretty good signal that we're probably going to see some dollar strength here. The Canadian itself weakens. Dollar Canadian actually, it's giving you definitely a buy signal on this. Definitely the trend's higher on the short term for the 240. Still lower on the secondary trend on that 240 for dollar CAD, but the short term trend's higher. Dollar Chief. Interesting day today. Lower right on the daily chart. It looks like, I can move in on that. Looks like he closed lower. He closed lower today, so the Chief, despite weakness in the other European currencies, the low yielding currency, the Chief was actually higher on the day. I like this chart now because, okay, eyes left on the weekly chart. You can see the short-term trend is down. Come down here, our stochastic on the bottom, and they're pointing down. Come over here, you can see the trend is down now on the daily. The MACD on the daily is below 0, so that tells me the secondary trend is now lower on the daily. So dollar Swiss, the trends are coming together, and it looks like the Swiss is going to strengthen, and looks like you'll see further weakness for the U.S. Swiss. Crazy environment we're in, obviously. Just to touch briefly on what's going on with the bailout, and you know, the U.S. Congress rejected it. Kind of hard to step out and forecast, but the charts are telling us that dollar Swiss is going to continue to weaken, so we'll look for strength in the Swissy. The next market, the euro yen. The euro yen, the carry trade overall really got socked today. It kind of reinforces the carry trade's reputation amongst professional traders that the carry is kind of a crackerjack investment here, and it really showed it today. I mean, it was weaker even than the Australian dollar. Euro yen really got smacked. Lower right here, you can see on the daily chart, looks like you stopped here at the GAN 1/8 line. We'll have to see if that holds. But like the other pairs, yen pairs, all the trends, all the time frames are coming together here, and they're all pointing in one direction, and that generally means further downside action. Next market, the pound yen. Similar situation. Carry trade really got smoked here. The weekly short-term trends lower. Go down here, you look at your MACDs below zero on the weekly. Over here on the right, on the daily, look at the stochastic is pointing lower. The MACD's rolling over below zero. All of that's pretty negative news. So I'm just going to step out and say you're going to continue to see weakness in the carry trade. And thank you very much for checking us out. We do this every other day. If you want to go back and see our previous clips, you can go to Brewer FX and or go to the blog on Brewer FX. Thank you very much for attending. We'll see you Wednesday.